Hello and happiest of days to you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story. It's about 25 pages long. It's in the Cthulhu Mythos collection by Brian Lumley. It's called Haggopian and Other Stories. Will be links in the descriptions below. And this is it was very heavily published. It's a sword and sorcery take, and that sort of thing too. It's called I'm going to slaughter this. It says it's spelled Mylakthrion the Immortal for your folks. And so basically this is taking place in the older days and that sort of thing too, back when sword and sorcery was still a key part of the Cthulhu Mythos and what was happening. And that sort of thing too. Now basically what's happening, this is again written in Cthulhu Mythos. It's collected by Brian Lumley, a very, very popular horror author who started off in the Cthulhu Mythos short stories after about 2 decades or so before he moved into the very, very popular Necroscape series in the early 80s, right? And that sort of thing too. And he actually has one of his most famous and popular and published short stories of all time. It's actually set here too. It's called the Cthulhu Mythos. I think it's called the Curtain of Cthulhu or something like that. But basically, so he read the Cthulhu Mythos as a kid. So the Cthulhu Mythos is a shared mythos by H.P. Lovecraft that he created back in the pulp era. And he was friends with a lot of other people that were also very popular in sword and sorcery genres, like Robert E. Howard and Ashton Smith. And so basically, he will keep a lot of his shared elements together in this collection, like Cthulhu, the Necronomicon, places like Innsmouth and Arkham. Right, and that sort of thing too. And he has this great shared universe, and then he'll bring things in from other people, like Clark Ashton and Smith Cthulhu, who is a sword and sorcery old guy that he'll sort of modernize for the mythos, and then he'll encourage other authors to take his stuff too. And so basically, that's where it started, the Cthulhu Mythos, and that sort of thing too. And there was a lot of early sword and sorcery Cthulhu Mythos stuff too, right, by Robert E. Howard, and some regular horror stuff too. So you can check it out, as well as Clark Ashton Smith stuff, like the Seven Gaseouses. And that sort of thing. And so this is, and so I encountered the Cthulhu Mythos when I was in college after reading a 3-volume collection of Lovecraft as a junior in college. My favorite genre up until then was fantasy, from things like Tolkien to Lovecraft. To Salvatore, to Moorcock, who became my favorite author. And that sort of a thing too, right? And I had read tons. But then I read Lovecraft, a 3-volume collection. And then this was of all this stuff that he had solo written, one of his horror stuff, one of his fantasy stuff, and then one of his Cthulhu Mythos stuff. And then I picked up a 2-volume collection of all this shared stuff, where you either ghost writ like the Mount, or maybe co-wrote, or just edited, right? That sort of thing too. And then also you have a collection. And then that was in the mid-90s, and so I started buying like pretty much every Cthulhu Mythos collection, like Cthulhu 2000. A couple of these had Brian Lumley, but I haven't read that many Brian Lumley things, so I thought it'd be fun for this October that I like to dedicate to the Cthulhu Mythos in this channel. I probably read more than 1,000 short stories in the Cthulhu Mythos, all up and down the box. That sort of thing too. So basically what's happening here is this is set in the past, and it will, this is more sorcery than sword, I'll be honest. Basically our primary character is the most powerful sorcerer of his era. He's actually a descendant of a much more powerful sorcerer from the older era. But he was also the most powerful era too. And that incredibly strong guy was an immortal. And that sort of... And so he's like wine. He's actually the main character. That's the name. And so he's like, so he did some research, and he actually has like a Dungeons and Dragons is a Speak with Dead spell. But basically, the idea is he's going to talk with him, and it's sort of, but it's in dream states, and that sort of thing too. And then he's told that he does sort of exist in a dream-like state, and that sort of thing too. And then this guy's like, but I want the real proper immortality, not just, sort of existing dreams and undead states and stuff like that, but actual proper immortality. And he's like, so tell me the secrets. And since first, like, no thanks, I don't want to tell you, because you don't want to do it. Because I explored that path too. And then he says, so tell me what you did in order, and he couldn't find it. And he's like, all right, find out what's going on, and that sort of a thing. So basically what's going to happen is his ancestors are going to tell his path for immortality and how it intersects with Cthulhu Mythos, and specifically Cthulhu. Then it has an ending that is very, very strong. Now, Clark Ashton Smith was actually somebody who was known for his dark and twisted endings. And since this is a short story, short and sorcery in style, kind of like the kind of things that he did with his sort of a dark and twisted ending, I feel like this is more of an attempt to homage Clark Ashton Smith, or at least be successful at, even if it wasn't the intent, than it is Lovecraft. I love this short story. I think it's great stuff. 9.5 out of 10 for you, folks. I think it's incredibly strong, incredibly great. It's got great world building. It's got great scenes. It's got great conversations. It's got great descriptions. It's got a great ending, and that sort of a thing too. Absolutely a Clark Ashton Smith dark ending, right? If you like the Clark Ashton Smith dark twisted endings, check this out. All up and down the box, yeah. Alrighty for you, folks. And so there you are. And so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 9.5 out of 10 for you, folks? I'd be happy to sort of engage you with it further in the comments below, whatever your thoughts are. Remember, I'm not a trained critic. I didn't study English in college, and I don't know that stuff, right? So I'm not coming to you from a place of expertise, right? So your opinion really is as valid as mine is, right? So let me know what your thoughts are. Just try to keep it spoiler-free. Again, I'll link you to this collection in the description below, in case you're interested in checking it out. Try to keep it spoiler-free like I did, just as heads up. And then also, I also do 3 of these older reviews a week of science fiction, fantasy, horror stuff too, all up and down the blogs for you folks that are in these things that you read. All right, and then I also do older RPG reviews of the tabletop or board games, and then also older video games on Wednesday. On Saturday, I do older reviews of movie and TV serials from decades ago, like the era that many of these authors that I love were living. Like a pulp and then all that good stuff for you folks. And so if those 7 reviews a week sound like your cup of tea, or you just want to follow this along or him because you're a fan of Brian Lumley, it's fine. No issues. Do whatever you want to do, but then please do all the YouTube stuff and hit the subscribe button, like button, all that stuff too. Alright, as you can tell from those 7 older things and finding these things for you, it's the passion of this channel. It doesn't get the hits, but that's fine. It's even where its name comes from. So yeah, so in our passion for the new stuff, right, we've sometimes forgotten that it's standing on the shoulders of giants. So let's check out those giants, right? Not that they're bad by default, but you get that idea, right? A heavily influential armor. And like Brian Lumley, like Clark Ashton Smith, like H.P. Lovecraft, right? All that stuff, all up and down the box for you folks. And so there you are. I hope you really enjoyed spending your time with me. Thanks so very, very much for just taking that time out of your day and investing in watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So thank you. So this time with me, that's incredibly humbling. And I appreciate that so very, very much. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.